Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I'm here with kind of an unscheduled update, chit-chat kind of a thing. I'm gonna do a couple of things today, but I'm hoping to kind of make it a little bit quick. I've got a little bit of a whip update, I have some haul, I have a little bit of knitting to talk about, and if there's time, I want to do a tag, either or both Adele's For Reals Though tag and Kate the Queen of Starts the Pearl tag, which I think is actually a genius name for what the tag actually is. But before I do that, I know that there's kind of this thing starting. Mackenzie from the Lovely Array as well as Laurel have shown their collections of Mirabilia patterns. I know that Laurel expanded it to Nora Corbett and I'm not going to pronounce it right, but the designer behind Lavender and Lace and Told in a Garden, and another company which I also can't remember, such as it is. A couple of things also, it is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016, and yep, it's middle of the afternoon and here I am. Normally I'm at work, but recent updates with my life have led to a change, and I have since left my job. And I am going back to basics and sort of working on me and my mental health. I haven't been particularly, don't want to go into it too far, but I haven't been particularly okay as of late. And so I had to make a tough decision. And yeah. So here we are. So I don't want to talk too much about it anymore. So let's just get started. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the haul first because I want to. So first things first with the haul. I have just very little haul. I have more coming, but nonetheless. So let's see here. First things first, I got the silks that I need for Mirabilia's Bluebeard Princess Mirabella. One of them was back ordered, it's on the way and it should be here tomorrow, but these are the three that I have now. So the first one I used before. So Umbria, and I used this one in Winter White Santa. It's lovely maroons and then this green, brown, foresty kind of color. So there's that. And then we have Sea Glass, and I love this one. I think this is beautiful. Oh. So it is pale greens, which is of course not going to happen with how bright it is today. So there we go. That's kind of close. Okay. And then we have, this is Bermuda Reef. That's pretty accurate. So blues and greens. And these, I don't know if I mentioned it, they are all Water Lilies by the Karen Collection, and I have the fourth one on the way. In addition to that, I also got another silk that I'm using for Mirabella, and this was kind of, it was to replace a DMC because I've made some changes to Mirabella, and I'll show that to you once we get to the webs. But the major change that I made was that I switched out a DMC floss color for, this is Dinky Dyes, and it is Hydrangea. And no, it is not like stark white. So let's try this again. There we go. So it's a very, very pale purple. Let's see if I can cover me. Yeah, so very pale purple. And what I have found is that against the very dark fabric, and I'll show it to you here in a second, against the very dark fabric, it looks white. So, but I got 2 skeins of that. I'm not going to need near as much as I thought I was going to. But that's okay, because now I'll have a full skein in my stash for who knows what. So there's that. And then I can't just order like 4 skeins of silk, 5 skeins of silk. I need to stick a pattern in there, so I did. And this is, oh, and I'm not going to show you that. This is the Cricket collection, also known as the Cross-Eyed Cricket. This is book number 323, and this is April, designed by Vicki Hastings. And this is in their monthly series. When I was looking at doing the Year of Starts, I looked at doing 12 months and doing this series. However, January and February haven't come out yet. They're scheduled to be released sometime this week, but they're not out yet. So I sort of had to revise my plan. And so anyway, I got April because April's like a week and a half away. April is my birthday month. And there's also a Sal in Stitch Mania. April showers bring May flowers. And there's flowers. And there's an umbrella and April. I mean, like, it's just perfect. So, there's this. And then there's a little carrot with balloons. It's called Magic Hat Carrot. So that's cute. These are stitched in primarily DMCs. Some of them require the odd Kreinig or hand-dyed thread, but generally speaking, they're just the DMCs. This one came with a little button. Let me rephrase. It called for a little button. Little bunny rabbit. Ain't he cute? I love him. And he's hand-painted on both sides. I think he's hand-painted. Maybe not. No, maybe not, because the hearts are exactly the same. So not hand-painted, but nonetheless, very cute. And you can see where he is right there. Wrong way, Jess. There you go. Wrong way. My gosh. Pardon the state of my nails right now. I am working on getting them growing back, but this spring dries me out so much that my fingernails crack, and, you know, it's part of being me. So that's it for haul. Very, very basic. I lied just there. I have one digital pattern that I recently received, and so I'm going to insert a picture of that here so that you can see it. And yes, that is the Scottish Mandala by Chatelaine. The minute that it was released, I couldn't help myself. I believe Garrett Coffee Stitcher says that he throws money at Liz and she sends him stuff. That's kind of how I feel about Martina. I just throw money at her and hope that something comes back. And so yeah, got Scotland. And there's a kit on European Cross Stitch that is calling my name for Scotland, and it's really more reasonable than I was expecting it to be, so that's very cool. I haven't ordered it yet. I just left my job. I can't justify that right now. But yeah. So that is the official end of the haul. Okay, so next we will do the whip update. I have just one whip. It's mostly monogamous March, and I'm holding strong. Partly because I didn't have the fabric I needed to make a new start, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Sticking with it, at least for today. So my one project is Mirabilia's Bluebeard's Princess Mirabella. I am stitching this on 32 count Knix by Under the Sea Fabrics. And here is where I am today. So, a couple of things you will notice. First of all, since last time I got her hair done, as well as the doobly bits, on top of her head. And the I got her face done, at least not her facial features certainly, but the skin itself is done. And then I've worked down to her shoulders. And then the border. So that is why I purchased the hydrangea by Dinky Dyes. Now, it's not giving me the effect that I thought it might. I thought it might be a little bit more variegated than it is, but that's fine. I'm okay with it being pretty subtle. Originally, it was charted as just a single stitch border with a very pale purple, very similar to hydrangea. And I stitched a portion of that single stitch border and I hated it. I just didn't like, I mean, some of the stitches were a little bit wonky. They weren't lining up the way that I wanted them to. And when there's chunks of stitching, you know, like her hair, if there's a stitch that looks funny, then there are stitches around it that will help blend it in and help it sort of look like the rest of them. But with this single stitch border, I couldn't do that. I mean, there was no buffer. There was nothing to draw the eye away from it. So I ripped it out and I contemplated a bunch of different things. Do I do no border? I didn't like that because I really liked the border. I liked having a border there. Not only is there this pale purple, but there's also chunks of a silk, the umbria, in fact, that goes across the border and around the border. I like the look of having a border because the crown sits on top of it, and otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. But I didn't know which direction to go. I thought about getting a better thread and doing 1/2 for this border. So that's what I ordered the hydrangea for. So I tried that and I didn't like it. It didn't look nice. So I ripped that out. Then I tried what's called a chain stitch. I thought because she's a mermaid it might look kind of cool if there was like a chain running along it. You know, sort of like attached to an anchor under the sea. It just kind of goes together, right? Well, I didn't like that either because the chain stitch, while it's easier than Lazy Daisies, it's still the same almost concept because Lazy Daisies, it's hard to get them all to look exactly the same. And with a finite space, I had to make sure they looked the same. So then I tried a double herringbone with one strand of the hydrangea and one strand of something else. Didn't like that. It was too busy. So I tried double herringbone with one strand of the hydrangea in one direction and one strand in the other direction. Again, too bulky and it didn't look like anything. So I ripped out the top herringbone and I went with just a single herringbone. And so that's where we are at today. It's going to be kind of hard to see, and if I remember to, I will take a picture of it and insert that so that you can see it. But that's where we're at. So it still takes up the exact same amount of space as the single stitch border does, but it just kind of looks nicer. It just makes more sense. By the way, big props to people who change patterns because that's a nightmare. It can be anyway. Just because I went through so many revisions and, you know, the linen, I mean, like, it's a strong linen, but it can only take so much, right? I had to be really gentle every time I took stitches out. I say rip, but it was more like 2 hours, and I finally got 100 stitches pulled out. So, anyway, so that's done. And my seahorse is upside down. That's cute. So I will continue working on her. Her skin is a very daunting task, but I'm getting there. You know, I've reached her shoulders, and so we're getting there. And it looks nice. I mean, it looks good. I like the shading on her neck. That looks really nice. And I think her face is going to look really good once I get the back stitch in. So, that's Mirabella. And I will continue to work on her. My goal, let's see, we have 8 days left in March, including today. No, 9 days, including today. I want to get her skin done by the end of the month. I don't know if that's going to happen. There was a time in my life, in my stitching life, when I could stitch for 8 hours without blinking an eye. And that is not the case anymore. So we'll see. See what I get done. I'm going to set the goal for the skin, but I'm also going to intermingle some 2/2 stitching with it because that 1/1 skin is exhausting. It's kind of intense. So there's that. Okay. Next, let's do the Mirabilia thing because I loved this. When I saw Mackenzie's and then Laurel's, I was just like, that's just so cool, just to kind of share my collection. I don't know that I would necessarily call it a collection. I don't know if we're necessarily at that level. Maybe. In order for me to stitch all of these, I have to stop everything else, and let's face it, that's not going to happen. So I guess that's collection. So I have a pile here. The top is Mirabilia. The bottom is Nora Corbett. And I'm going to do just like the other two did. I'm going to follow in their footsteps, and I'm going to show you each design. If I have a whip for it, I will show you the whip. If there's writing on the back, or like a story to go along with it, then I will show that to you. Or I'll read that to you, excuse me. And we're going to go in chronological order of publication. So, first up is Mirabilia number 1. This is Damask Roses, or Damask. And this is copyright 1993. No story to go with her, but nonetheless, there she is. She is 100% DMC. There are no beads. There's no Krennic. And the back, I'm going to show this to you because you can see this information. It's kind of got a different font than they use now. It almost has a handwritten quality. That's what it looks like anyway. So there's that. I think she's gorgeous. I particularly love the pedestal that she's sitting on. So there we go. Okay. Next, we have arguably my favorite. This is Mirabilia number 51, so big jump here, the Seaside Kingdom. 2 kids playing in a sandcastle. Love that. How gorgeous is that? Okay, so now the back. I read this last time when I showed it when I first got it, but I imagined the most beautiful, sparkling, crystallized castle and the warm breezes of the ocean. With a few new treasures from our friends at Gay Bull's Sales, the Seaside Kingdom was created. A home of sand and feathers and seashells, threads and beads. This castle will not be taken by the rushing waves. It will be yours to enjoy for a very long time. So there's that. Okay, up next we have number 57, the Queen Mermaid. This is another one that is out of print, though I don't believe she's hard to find. And it says, the Queen Mermaid switches through the waves, glittering in the ocean light. She's a figure of fairy tale, but seems quite real in her watery world. Not to be bought, only to be made by you, with the hand and from the heart. She's gorgeous. Krennic's beads and DMC, no water lilies. I don't believe. Nope. And treasures. What am I doing over here? Okay, flip that over. There we go. Okay. Next is the whip that I just showed you, and it is number 98. Another big jump. Bluebeard's Princess Mirabella. No story with her. There is, but it's further on the inside, and I'm not going to pull it out. Obviously, I like her. Next is Mirabilia 100 Winter White Santa. And I will insert a picture here so that you can see my finished piece, because I finished this in 2014. No, 2015. It was just after the new year. This was a piece that I stitched for my stepdad. I stitched it using the required fabric. It's a twilight blue linen. And it says, Mirabilia Designs presents its 100th design, featuring a snowy winter white Santa with a gorgeous candy cane red scarf. An exclusively designed crystal charm tops the lovely Christmas tree. This design is filled with all the magic and beautiful imagery of the Christmas season. It will elevate your stitching and your spirits. And I stitched him beads and all in 98 days. I haven't done like anything in 98 days in a long time. So there's that. Next we have number 116, Elizabeth. This design is named for my favorite movie icon. I am so inspired with the fearless, beautiful way she lived her life. She swam with sharks and took wild road trips and truly lived. Yours, Nora. Gorgeous. DMC and 2 beads. If anybody's looking to do a Mirabilia or to do some beadwork, this is a great one to start with, because there are only 2 beads and she's very modestly beaded, we shall say. So we go from 116 to 127. We go from very modestly beaded to probably one of the heaviest beaded pieces of Mirabilia's designs, Persephone. Like the lotus flowers behind her, with their blooms growing up from the darkness, Persephone emerges from the underworld once a year to return to her mother Demeter and herald the beginning of spring. Read more about Persephone inside. And I will show you my work in progress. This is being stitched on 32 count Tempest from Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. I started this on January 1st, 2015, which is a work in progress. So there we go. Her skin is being stitched 1/1 because, you know, that's how I do. Sorry, I'm exhausted just thinking about all of the 1/1 skin I have looming. Next, we have another piece that is also a work in progress. This is the Raven Queen, Mirabilia number 139. I dream of stone castles. Sometimes a dark beauty walks the bridge. Read more about the Raven Queen inside. Lovely, lovely lady. Also very heavily beaded. Lots and lots of black. Calls for 3 skeins of it. Whew. This is also, I think I've said this, a work in progress. I'm stitching this on 32 count Haunted by Picture This Plus. And I made a very basic start, and I haven't worked on it since. I've also switched out the DMC 310 for Anchor 403. So there we are. Love this. Looking forward to working on her some more. Okay. Next we have number 142, and this is Gypsy Queen. Who doesn't love Gypsy Queen in those vibrant colors? I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite features of Mirabilia Designs. Down here on the bottom of her skirt, she's got like this checkerboard. And for whatever reason, it's one of my favorite aspects of Persephone. But I also love the bodice of her dress. And her headdress. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Yep, she's pretty. Not very heavily beaded, but lots of stitching. So, there's that. And last but not least, this is the most recent Mirabilia, number 143, the Snow Queen. This floss woven woman was inspired by winter storms. Read more about the Snow Queen inside. Gorgeous! And those are it for my Mirabilias. Now I'm going to switch gears and move towards the Nora Corbetts. First one I have here is NC 149. This is 9 Ladies Dancing, a part of the 12 Days of Christmas series. And this is a work in progress. I'm stitching it on the called for linen, which is a 28 count China Pearl. It's a very stiff linen from Witchelt. And I have just the tiniest of little starts. It looks like a Rorschach's test. So what you see here, this is the top of her skirt, this is her arm and her glove, and this has part of the curtain here. She is very heavily beaded, and she uses also a ton of Krennic. The stitches look good. So, there's that. I have to tell you, I haven't stitched on 28 count in... I mean, I don't typically go for it, but it looks nice. So, there's that. And that's it for whips of these. So I've only got 4. It's not bad. Next we have Siren's Song Mermaid. This is NC 189, and it's a part of the La Petite Mermaid collection. Gorgeous. We've got the sun coming in, so it's probably gonna, ooh, yeah, pasty. Well, we'll get through it. And then we have my very first Nora Corbett finish, which is Gigi. I'll have a picture here showing you what that looks like. I have the finished piece, but it is, number 1, covered in glass, and so, holy glare, Batman. And number 2, I forgot it. It's in my office. And this is one of the first Bewitching Pixies. I made some changes to this pattern. I replaced the cat with a jack-o'-lantern, and I added a spider to the tip of her hat. So I'll make sure to insert a picture. Next we have 2 from the Black Forest Pixies. We have number 215, the Leaf Collector, and number 216, the Berry Collector. There's those guys. And then we have 2 more of the Bewitching Pixies. We have 219, Electra, and 220, Gwen. They're so cute and little. I mean, like, compared to Mirabella or Persephone or Snow Queen, they're so tiny. So cute and tiny. Eventually, I would really like the whole, yeah, I know, the whole collection of the Bewitching Pixies as well as the Black Forest Pixies. But I'm going to take it easy. Next, we have a couple that I downloaded from Hirschner's. This is Sunflower Fairy, I believe. Is that your name? I think that's her name. And Trick or Treat Fairy. Both Nora Corbett designs that were in issues of cross-stitch and needlework, I do believe. So there's that. And then, I'm not going to show you anything because we don't know what it looks like, but of course we have the Nora Corbett Wherefore Art Thou mystery. That's it. Those are my Mirabilias and Nora Corbett's, at least for now. I have one on the way. And I say that with like a face, but I don't really mean it because I'm really excited about it. I so love their designs. They're just so gorgeous. There was more that I wanted to say about that, but it has escaped me. So we're going to move on and see if we can't get this video under 45 minutes. I'm so excited. So the last thing I want to talk about, I'm going to save the tags for another video. The last thing I want to talk about is knitting. So the first thing that I have to talk about is a recent finished object, and you are seeing it now. This, a great big scratchy, it's way too warm to be wearing this cowl, is the capture cowl. And it needs to be blocked yet. You can see it's going to grow a whole lot once it's blocked. But this I knit in 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. It was a challenge hosted by Eat Sleep Knit. I've talked about Eat Sleep Knit an awful lot on my channel. It's one of my favorite yarn stores. And they hosted a flash challenge. Knit this cowl in, they gave the parameters of 8 days, but I did it in 7. And it was a challenge. My hands got sore. My thumb got sore right here in the joint. And the yarn that I picked is lovely and so warm, but it's a little bit scratchy. I am enduring it for the sake of the video because I think it's lovely on, and it's going to be really great next winter. I'm really hoping that by blocking it, it's going to soften up a bit because it is scratchy. It is a mohair merino blend. Merino is a breed of sheep. Mohair is it is fiber from the Angora goat, which is not to be confused with the Angora rabbit. That fiber is called Angora. Don't be confused, it's okay. The mohair makes it look shiny. It makes it look a little bit more luxe, but it also adds the scratch vector. It's a very hairy yarn. I'm actually going to show you the skein. You can see it's, yeah, that blowing out of the camera really shows off how hairy it is. This is my leftovers. Let's see, what else did I want to say? It's also very warm. Mohair is an extremely warm fiber. So yeah, this, the yarn base is Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and it's their Billy the Kid. This skein, it was just one skein. It was a big honkin' thing, 485 yards, over 220 grams. Very big skein. Originally, when I first set out to do this thing, it's an easy pattern to do in 7 days, but it requires some fortitude. Originally, what I wanted to do was knit the whole skein. And I mean, I could have done that, but I was just so tired of knitting at that point that I just wanted to get it done. So I did what I needed to. I got the yardage that I needed, and it's done. And the colorway is called Enchanted Forest. So there's that. And it's definitely scratching along the back of my neck here, but like I said, I think it's gonna soften up with a block. So there's that. And then the last thing that I have to show you is the work in progress that I have been focusing on since finishing this. The irony is that after I finished this, I was so tired of knitting, so I got working on something else. I don't know. So this is the designer behind this was Northbound Knitting, also known as Lisa Much. Okay, now the pattern that, or the project that I'm working on more consistently now is, it's called Looking at Her. and I am obsessed. So I picked this back up yesterday, and I had very little done, and I've knit all of this since yesterday. So what this is, it's a shawl pattern designed by Lydia Brown. She goes by Lydia B. She is one of the O Loops girls. O Loops is a yarn, hand-dyed yarn company. She also designed this shawl. And I am knitting this for their Looking at Her along. It's a knit along hosted by the group. And the inspiration for the design is Looking at Her is actually a part of a quote from the Divergent series. It's actually, there was a bundle of novellas that was published after the books called Thor, and it's all about Thor, the character. And there's a quote from that book that inspired this. So we've got this really cool textured section up here, and then stockinette on the other side in the purple. And then there will be another blue section, and then a purple section with the textured section on this side, and the stockinette section on this side. So very, very cool. I'm looking forward to getting further in this. The yarns that I'm using, the first is this beautiful blue speckled. I'm going to show it back here because I'm not in the sun over here. This is, it's blue speckle. It is the Flying Kettle yarns with, and it's her glider base. And the colorway is called Mariana's Trench, which is not in reference to the band, as I had originally thought. It's actually in reference to the deepest part of the ocean. So gorgeous pops of purple and rust and green, pinks. Really, really beautiful. So love that. And I have paired it with Malabrigo Sock in Dewberry, which is a tonal purple, which actually helps bring out the purple bits in the Mariana's Trench, I think. So, loving that. And both of those are merino nylon blends. They are meant for socks. So, that's that. That's what I'm knitting on. A couple other things that I am working on, but as I'm trying to keep the knitting a little bit light on my channel, I'll just show the one. So, there you have it. I don't think we did it under 45 minutes, but that's okay. It's a little bit shorter than normal. I'm gonna go because I'm starting to get a little washed out. I'm kind of like trying to do things to play with the light so that I'm looking a little bit more natural. And so I will see you guys later. Bye. Hi there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and I am joined by the ever-loved Thor, the English Bulldog. He is here with us today. Excuse him if he's sniffing, rubbing his butt on the bed, you know, doing Thor things. Ooh, washing out the... This is the life of having a bulldog. Everything is about his butt. Everything. Everything is about his butt. No, I'm not scratching your butt right now. I'm not doing it. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. We're talking to your fans today. They're your fans. They don't like me. They just want to see you. Get your rope. Where's your rope? Get that rope. There you go. not yours. Okay. Thor, you can't do that. It's table. Are you licking the box? Why are you doing that? This may not work. That's Mommy's. You can't have it yet. It's not yours yet, Thor. I have to finish drinking it first. But then you can have it after. Okay? Okay. He says okay.